Hey y'all, and welcome to the video. So this video is going to be the spring 2026 garden update on all the palms and other plants that we have. We've got several new plants to show. We've had a lot of rain, so I do want to incorporate the environmental factors and some of the things that I deal with all the swampy conditions here into this video, so y'all can see that for the first time. We got this Washingtonia robusta, which is maybe my fastest growing example. This was only planted last year, and it is caught up to in size to the other ones that were planted a year earlier. It's probably even bigger now with its huge fronds. So we're doing very well there. Small needle palm here. It's got a new frond. It just opened up this spring. I have a Butea right here. It looks like it had a little bit of fungal going on, even though these are super hardy. There's several of these that I have that look like that. And then a newcomer, I've got these little ones. I got 16 of these, and I've planted them all over the place. Another Butea. This one's just starting to go pinnate. And I got these all over. Some of them are in real experimental, shady or swampy spots. It's not too big a deal if I lose one. We'll see a handful throughout the video. I don't think I'm going to try and find all of them, but they're all doing well, all 16. They were planted in February, so they've been in the ground not quite 3 months. So this is a bald cypress, and this one is growing fast. It might even encroach with the Washingtonia here before long. I've got another needle palm here, so super hardy, as we know, but I had some damage from the 20 degrees, surprisingly. I even spear pulled on this one, but it is pushing a new frond out of the main trunk there, so I was a little concerned I'd lose the main trunk, as sometimes they do that. I don't know why. Here's more of our little Buteas. There's 3 of them here, one here, one here, one here. I've just got them all over the place. There's a third needle palm. This is my best looking one. It's the bushiest. It's got the healthiest looking foliage. It didn't have any problems in the wintertime. Looking good. As you can see, a bit swampy here. So this area does take on some water. I've got this plant on the mound to try and keep it, at least the trunk, out of the water, but this is a swampy area. Chinese fan palm had some partial damage from the winter, but some foliage mostly unscathed. It's got new spears all over the place. Down there, it's doing pretty well. And this bald cypress in a fantastic spot for a bald cypress. It's sitting in about 3 or 4 inches of water right now. And we'll come over here. So I got a couple stories with these. First of all, this Butea, this is maybe one of my prettiest ones, sitting in the driveway. I wasn't sure this one would do that well, but it's been in the ground for 3 years now and growing quite well. I just thought it'd be a little too shady here. It's a little bit swampy, but it's on a pretty nice mound. And that's how I manage most of my palms, is I put them on about a 3 to 4 inch high mound. And then right here, this I actually dug out of a drainage ditch. This is a green saw palmetto, and it's definitely died back. My research tells me that it's unlikely to survive, but it's been here for about close to 2 months. It hasn't totally died back. The smaller trunks, it's got about 5 of them here. They're doing better than these bigger ones, but this is pushing. These spears are pushing. So I have hope that it's rebuilding its root system and will survive. We'll see how it does. I mean, the fact that it's not totally dead after 2 months gives me some hope. But had I done a little bit of research before digging this up, I probably would not have dug it up. And we used to have a silver saw palmetto right here, a real small one. It never looked that good. And the 20 degrees, I mean, it's hardy for that, but it just didn't make it. If the plant is, stressed going into a freeze like that, you can see why it might die when it otherwise normally wouldn't. We have another Butea here. This one looks like it had a little bit of fungal as well, but it has grown out of that for sure, with a nice looking spear coming out. Also at the end of the driveway here, I put one of these little ones on the opposite side. And we have another Butea right here. This one's in a really nice spot. It gets plenty of sun, plenty of water. It's on a mound. It's looking healthy. I don't see any fungal issue with this one from the winter. I have a Washingtonia robusta. Looking pretty good. This is a new one. This is a sago. This one was actually flushing when I bought it, so we didn't have any of this foliage up here, and it's got like a second round of flush going on. This was all it had originally. It's been in the ground for maybe a month. We got a baby Washingtonia. So this one is a survivor from 20-degree freeze. These small ones do not do that great in cold. You know, they need to get some size on them and they'll have a better shot. I had 6 of these originally, and this is the final one that's alive after 2 colder than average winters. And then we have a Dayun Edgeley, which really exceeded my expectations. It's took no damage over the winter and it is still looking good. I'm still waiting for this thing to do a flush. It's been in the ground since September and I've not seen it flush yet. And then right next door, we got this Washingtonia. This one's growing real tall. It's over 2 foot, or about 2 foot of trunk on this one, but it's real tall and skinny. But expected to have a pretty good year this year. It's pushing out lots of new fronds. I got another little sago back here. And I just like the look of this one. It's real compact, real small. It looks like a pineapple. This one's always looked good, but it looks like it got a little bit of that fungal over the winter. But it's got a nice base on it, thickness to the trunk. And a nice, you know, silvery teal color. And back here, these bananas, they're coming back. These are blue Javas. These actually regrew without intervention from the stalk. So they were alive inside despite a 20-degree freeze. I was really surprised that they didn't just die back all the way to the roots. Some of them I did have to chop back a bit, but all the bananas are back this year. And we do have one more Butea back here. This one kind of pushing out a smallish looking front. And I put another little baby one back here. So we'll see how that one does. Now, last year I didn't really show back here much, but I have a grove of cypress trees in my septic sprinkler area. Here's one example. But the ones that are back here are growing really well. This one here is actually a pond cypress. And you can see it's in a great area for a cypress, being real swampy right here. Bald cypress over here, sitting in about 3-4 inches of water. And then the big grove real quick. I'm getting attacked by deer flies right now. Bald cypress. This is a water tupelo. This thing doubled in size last year, so I'm expecting a bunch more growth this year. It has leaves like that. Another water-loving plant that can grow in standing water. We've got another water tupelo right here. Bald cypress, pond cypress. These little ones have struggled a bit, but they are still alive. Some bigger pond cypress that are, you know, I've got some dieback, but still most of the plant's still there. Small pond cypress. Here's a bald cypress that's taller than me. Growing quite well. This is a bald cypress, but these were real tiny when put in the ground, and it really took off back here. More bald cypress. This is a pond cypress that actually looks pretty decent and pretty sizable. And then more bald cypress back around here. And I'm gonna get the heck out of here because I'm being swarmed. And last bald cypress, there's maybe a dozen of them back here. All right, so this area right here, I always mentioned in previous videos that it's a swampy area. I haven't planted any palms here. You can see how it gets. We've had several inches of rain this week, but there's about 4 inches of water right here. I thought this could be a good spot for a sable palmetto, and I actually do have one growing in a pot here. This is a sable palmetto from Bald Head Island, North Carolina. That's where the seeds came from. And it's just growing right there. Obviously, gonna take a long time to get big. They're very slow. But it is a water-loving palm that could survive in swampy conditions. I do have a bald cypress right here in this spot. And then coming around here, we got some newcomers. These are white birds of paradise, already growing a new leaf on this one. I've got them mulched in. This one is opening up a new leaf right now. These can get big and they're surprisingly resilient in the wintertime, so I'm giving a couple a try. And then we do have another little Butea back here. Real shady in that spot, but we'll see how it does. And then blue javas are growing. You know, I cut the stalk down yay high off the ground. So I gave it about 2 feet and it regrew from there, pupping out some new pups, and gave it a little bit of nice looking mulch. And over here, so these are my oldest Washingtonias. In the ground 3 years. They're growing pretty well, but some of the others have caught up to them in size. They're no longer the biggest ones. And I've got my agaves here. I'm wondering what's going on with these. We've got some dieback here, but it's not really growing. It's not replacing the dead ones as fast as we lose these older ones. So I'm wondering if they're struggling or what's going on with them, but we'll keep watching these. And then we got another Washingtonia. Another agave right here. And we got my oddball Washingtonia that grows real kind of smaller fronds, more compact. This one took the most damage out of all my Washingtonias in the cold too, which is kind of confused me a little bit. It's got the least red in the bark as well. A final agave and the last in the row of the Washingtonias. New spear coming out. This is a new frond, probably just opened this last week or so. And in the back, we got our Cavendish bananas. Cut these down about 2 feet off the ground, and they're growing back from that point. I have some hope that we could end up with some fruit. It's all a learning experience for me with these. But this is another Cavendish. The Grand Nains back here did not take the cold weather very well, but they all lived, and they're coming back from, those mostly died back to the roots. And there is a couple little Buteas back in the back here for the jungle look. All right, coming around. Bismarckia was protected during the winter. Just opened a new frond and looking pretty good. These are my smaller ones. But expect them to make some progress this year since they were protected during the winter. In the back, more little Buteas can be spotted. There's one here, there's another one back here. There's even one back in the woods there that I can't even see. We'll see how that does. Little cypress right here that when planted, it died back to the roots a couple years ago, but it's regrown to this size. And then this Butia, I'm gonna have to get the weeds out of the way, but I put that in the ground in February. It was a decent sized one, as you can see, and it's opened up a new frond and is very happy. And we got our other Bismarckia right here. It looks like it's about ready to open this spear. It's got a second spear coming out. Looking pretty good. And let's not forget these guys over here. So these are some new ones. We have, this is a Washingtonia fallifera. Now, I ordered these from Las Vegas, and they have been in their pots for a few weeks. I kept them under the house to keep them from being sunburnt right away, but now they're out in the sun and doing well. This one had some shock, died back, thought I might die, but actually it is still alive. So hoping for the best with that one. And then we did have a little Washingtonia robusta here. This was the one of the 6 babies, and this one appears to have died. It looked like it was going to make it, but then somehow just died. Silver salt palmetto, and I did have some spear pull on this one, but you can see a new spear. You know, real interesting with these little salt palmettos that they didn't take 20 degrees quite well, but it could also have been the moisture along with the 20 that caused them so much damage. We had another Butia. We overlooked a salt palmetto. This one's actually doing very well. This one didn't have hardly any trouble this winter, and it's got the biggest clump out of all my silver salt palmettos. It's actually looking kind of green, but that might be because of the rain, and also it might be a hybrid between silver and green. Here is a Sylvester date palm, and it did well over the winter. No problems with this, just, you know, a little bit of minor damage on some of the older growth from 20 degrees, but this did better than I expected. The new growth all looks really nice. It's got that silver color, and it's pushing all kinds of new spears out. So I'm pretty happy with this one, and it seems very happy in this location. Gets plenty of sun. It's up on a mound. I also put some compost down on these to try and fertilize a bit and regenerate the soil a bit. There's a lot of clay. There's some sand, but there's a lot of clay here. So this is another Butia. It's been in the ground 3 years, one of my oldest ones. Got some older fronds dying back on it. This one has just never seemed quite that happy, but it does have a nice new spear going for it. So, and I'm not seeing any fungal issues on this. There might have been some right here from the winter, but it has definitely outgrown that. And then we got ourselves some other sables. This is Sable miamiensis, and it's a rare sable. You know, they may not even be in the wild anymore. They may be extinct in the wild. And they get big fronds and such, but I think their trunks stay small, kind of like a Sable Louisiana. And this is a Sable urasana. So this will give you that kind of Bismarckia look, but very hardy, but very slow growing. So pretty cool to have that. And we do have one more Sable Miami right here. Gonna take forever to grow these, but they're gonna be nice to have in the collection. And then coming over here, I got my big cypress. You can see they're in a good spot, swampy over there. I planted these in 2021, so they've been in the ground 5 years. It is now over 9 feet tall. It's got some thickness on its trunk. And when they were planted, they were about the size of this little one. So they're really taking off, really coming along. Happy to see how well they're doing. And I've got them over here because this is the other swamp area. And there's another one right here. Also close to 9 feet tall, at least 8 feet high on this one. Spanish moss hanging in it. And a trunk that's probably about 3.5 inches at the base. And then I believe our final area here, we got the big Bismarckia that I protected throughout the winter. It should have some good growth this year. Still looking good. Probably about ready to open up this larger spear. And it's got another sizable spear right behind it. But it has not opened a frond since November. So it's been 6 months since its last open frond. We've got 2 sable miners, which love these conditions. They love the swamp. They don't mind the cold. And you won't find any fungal issues on these. All right, now these 2 date palms. First of all, the Canary Island date palm got a fungal infection, but survived the cold weather. Didn't really have too much trouble with 20 degrees, but had a fungal infection. We got these kind of small fronds. I caught this one early and got it treated quickly, and this is actually a healthy frond that's pushed out, and there's 2 or 3 spears down in there that are already coming out. So it is well on its way to recovery this year. We might see some good growth out of this one this year now that it's getting established. And this Sylvester over here had a bigger issue with its fungal issue. It got a fungal infection, and it lost everything in the growth point. It was just nothing there. But lo and behold, it has pushed all of this out in the last couple of months and is looking pretty dang good. You know, these last couple here have been healthy with no evidence of fungal issues. So doing quite well with the Sylvester. I'm glad we could save this one and keep it alive. And then another sago, which surprisingly had some damage from the 20 degrees. I mean, it totally died back. And most of the sagos in my area didn't take damage like that, but this one was its first winter in the ground. And when I planted it, it didn't have much of a root system. It's alive, it flushed, and it's got a nice flush of new growth. So happy about that one too. And finally, well, actually not quite finally, but we have the dwarf Cavendish bananas. They got a new layer of mulch. They've regrown from the ground. Some of these actually pushed out of the old stalks, and they're growing pretty rapidly. I think they'll get some good size on them this year. And even this tiny little pup survived the winter and regrew. Real quick before we go look at the tropicals, got another little Butia right over here planted, and another silver saw palmetto. This one also had a spear pull right there, but you can see a new spear has emerged. So I thought I might lose the main trunk on this one, but it's still there. It's actually got 3 trunks in total. So coming along. Also, I just wanted to highlight here how I've got these up on their 3 or 4 inch mounds. And so the base of the plant, even with all this rain, had 7 inches of rain in the last 10 days, and the base of the plants stay high and dry and out of the standing water. And here we go with the tropicals. So we have a foxtail palm right here. I was able to bring it inside a few times during the winter to keep it from being frozen. It did get stuck out here on a 33-degree night, and it caused a little bit of damage, as you can see. But this is a new spear that just opened up last couple weeks, already pushing another one. So I'd say it's doing quite well. We got a bottle palm here. This is one of my favorites. It's also already opened 1 spear, 1 frond this spring. It's got another one that's probably about to open already. And it's looking good. It actually took that 33 degrees quite well with just a little bit of spots on the fronds. And 1 final foxtail right here with the new spear coming up. and looking all right. So we got these through the winter this past year. It was a bit of a pain having to bring them in the house. So often I probably carted them in and out 8 times maybe in the winter. And in January, there was a time when they spent like 10 days in the house straight. So, but they made it and they're here. The only things that I'm missing for this video, and I wanted to include in the video, was where those stakes are out there will be some new banana spots, and I'd like to actually get some plantains to try as well right there, that stake. So we haven't got our bananas or plantains yet, but that's really the last thing I want to plant this season. So we've got our area cleared out for them. And this is the view from up top.